You just hitting? Going
We're
at it?
just going to hit.
See if it runs out.
All right, Patrick. We're here at Augusta Country Club the day before the Masters. And I just want to kind of see you warm up and play before we play a couple golf holes here.
Okay.
How does your golf warm-up routine typically look? Is this something like, do you get to the course an hour before to like prep, do the whole thing, or do you roll up, walk onto the first tee and get out there?
There are definitely some like roll up, walk on the tees. But for the most part, I'll get there about 15, 30 minutes before. I usually take out like a low iron and then like a 9, 8 to see if I can kind of get something dialed in.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's just driver through and let's roll. That's my
Rip
go-to.
it. All right. Let's see if you literally have not hit a ball yet. So
No, I haven't.
kind of ease into things. There's going to be no judgment on these first few swings, that's for sure. How does the golf warm up compare to like warming up for a football game?
I mean, honestly, it's a lot the same in the sense of you want to try to dial it in and you want to get loose and stuff like that.
Yep.
But for me, I mean, it's a routine. That's the biggest thing. And as football, obviously, I'm a baseball player that plays football, superstitious, exactly the same warm-up routine every single time.
Really?
And I mean, for me, when I go to golf, it's the same warm-up. I get a few stretches in, hit the same kind of clubs, and then get out there and roll.
Nice. And football's the same way. So every single time you're doing the same thing.
Oh, in football, I mean, same exact warm-up every game. Go out there, get the long toss in, same stretches, and then get to going, get rolling.
All right, hit a few here. Don't let me keep you from your actual warm-up. Woo! It sounds crisp already.
Sounds great. Can't see anything right now, though. Just smashing it.
Straight into the sun. That's the best way. All right, so how did you get into golf originally? Like, what was your first entry point to the game?
Definitely my dad.
Yeah.
My dad played pitcher. A lot of times they go to spring training. They go out there and start golfing in Florida, Arizona, wherever they were. And he would just take me out there and start hitting it. And so I played growing up, was on like the front tees and hitting it down the middle of the fairway, loved it. Then I played in high school and college, but really focused in again when I got to the NFL and tried to get better.
Did you ever play competitive golf as a kid growing up? Or?
No, just other than my dad betting on me and then me playing with these other guys. I mean, I could hit it well, and he would always say like, hey, he's gonna outdrive all y'all from these front tees, and I was out there hitting it just as far as they were.
So you made your dad a little bit of cash?
Oh, 100%. He always was betting on me, so I'm sure I made him a couple bucks here and there.
Nice. Well, let's wait for this plane to fly overhead, but
it's a nice,
get a couple
plane.
rips in. So you play a little cut?
I do. So I mean, I've kind of given up on like trying to fix it, just having the baseball swing and only then playing in the off season and then going back into the season and going back. I was like, it's gonna be a little cut to fade, whatever it's gonna be, and I just gotta know it. Just know it's coming. So I just play it now.
Nice.
I just try to stay on the right side of the fairway where I can play it on every shot.
There you go. Where do you play most of your golf?
In Kansas City, I play at 2 courses, Loch Lloyd and then Wolf Creek Golf Club. And then when I get to Texas, I live on a golf course, Vaquero Country Club. So
nice.
I'm a member out there, and I get some good golf in for sure.
So who do you play with?
I have a couple buddies I grew up with.
Nice.
And then a couple guys on the team. So I have a couple buddies that I literally have grown up with since I was a little kid, and we all kind of golfing now, all live in that Dallas area. And then on the team, guys like Garrick Dethier and Travis Kelsey, they're always a good time to play with. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah. Are you the low handicap of the group of those guys?
Out of the football team for sure.
Yeah.
We actually just got Kyle Long, and I heard he's pretty good. So we'll see how that goes. I'm gonna get out there with them next week actually, and we're gonna see who still holds the title on the team.
I like that. Break him in a little bit. So when you're playing with guys on the football team, is that like a good bonding experience to have something that's, outside of the locker room, off the practice field, to get to know guys in a different way?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when you're playing football, I mean, every single day, you're really just out there grinding, and you see each other every single day doing the exact same things, and then to be able to go somewhere else where you're still in a competitive atmosphere, but you're enjoying your time. It's definitely something that you can kind of bond with those guys and see them outside of the locker room, which I think is important if you want to have a good football team.
And do you play much during the season, or is that kind of off limits?
I did a little bit earlier in my career. I haven't the last few years just because I feel like the quarterback position and golf swing, it's all rotating.
Yeah.
And so I don't want to be in a position where I'm playing so much golf during the season that I'm sore. I'm rotating all day and then golfing and swinging all day at the same time.
Sure. Yeah. Is it a different type of rotation, or is it,
It's definitely different, but at the same time, it's using some of those same muscles.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, anytime you're a rotating athlete, it's the same thing. It's like if you're swinging a baseball bat. I mean, it's all of it. It's the exact same rotation.
Right.
It uses different muscles for sure.
Did you grow up watching professional golf? Like, were you dialed in on the game as a kid?
I watched, obviously, seeing Tiger
Yep.
was awesome to watch. I mean, to be that dominant in any sport,
Yeah.
it's insane. I have even more respect for it now. But I watched it. My dad watched it. All those guys back in the day, and then as I've gotten grown up, I've started to really watch it and more and more. And
Yeah.
like where I'm like even on like I'll be watching first, second rounds on Thursday, Friday. Where back in the day it was like, oh, you only watch day 3, day 4.
Yeah.
And
The
so
end of Sunday. Yeah. Finishing up. And who are some of your guys? Like, who do you pull for on tour?
on tour now, it's kind of I pull for the guys I've met most times.
Yeah.
So obviously Tiger was someone I just was looked up to and everything like that. But I met Brooks Koepka now, and he's a great dude, and I'm like always want him to do good. I played with John Rahm a little bit.
Nice.
And he same thing, just a great dude, and so I'm always pulling for those guys. And then Gary Woodland, I mean, he's a Kansas City guy. I mean,
Sure.
he's right there. He went to Lawrence, so I've got to play with him a couple times. So there's those guys that I meet and build those relationships with. Definitely are pulling for them on the weekend.
Nice. Have you noticed anything about like the game of a professional golfer that really separates him from just a normal, solid player?
I think the biggest thing, how mentally tough those dudes are. When you think about it, I mean, when you're playing a football game, obviously you're dealing with a lot of things, but it's one day. Like, you got to have your best effort right there. When you're in those golf tournaments and they're 4 rounds and you have to play great golf every single day and keep that mental edge the entire time, I think that's something that makes them special. Whereas as your normal golfer, I can go out there one day and shoot a great score.
Yeah.
But I can go out there the next day and shoot a horrible score, and they're doing it 4 days in a row, great golf.
So are golfers athletes?
I think so. The biggest thing to me is I remember I went out to Bandon Dunes, and I walked like all 4 of their courses in 2 days.
Wow.
Like played all the courses, and then I saw Brooks Koepka, and I was like sore. I'm like, damn, I'm sore, man. Knees are hurting a little bit, and he's like, I love hearing guys like you say that. I have to do that like every single day. And I'm like,
Oh my God! Especially Brooks Koepka
Yeah.
must have loved to hear that, because I know, he thinks of himself as an athlete beyond just being a golfer. So that's unreal. So you actually have been to Bandon Dunes. You've done the buddies trip, like 2 days, 36 holes thing.
Oh, I have. I haven't got out there since they've had I can't remember the new
Sheep
course.
Ranch.
Sheep
Yeah,
Ranch. But I went out there the last 2 years, right before COVID happened last year, and then the year before that, and it was they're great trips, man. We had like 12 guys last year.
That's
played
awesome.
tournament. We played like a little tournament the whole time.
Are these buddies from home or just different
Both.
guys from your life?
It's both, and they've kind of we've built this like golf group now of some of my buddies from back home, and then some guys that I play with in the league, and some guys that I've played with before. So there's like QBs and stuff that, like Matt Moore, Chad Henney, guys that I've played with that are on these golf trips with us.
Nice. That's so cool. Anyone with like a really good golf game among those guys?
Matt Moore's pretty good. Some of my buddies from back home are pretty good on so it makes it really competitive for us. We're all, I'm not gonna say we're all great golfers. We're all at least above average. So when you're playing a tournament style, it gets a little fun.
Definitely. Is Bandon your favorite place that you've played? I saw you've had a little session at Cypress and Pebble. You've been to some nice spots.
Yeah. I would definitely say the Cypress Pebble was probably my favorite. I mean, the Bandon was it was so different. It was awesome. Like the experience was amazing. But being out there at Cypress, I actually played with Jim Nantz, and he gave me. I think he had just done the little documentary over every single hole. So he was like, "If you want to, I'll give you all the history of every hole." And it was I mean, it was just special to be in that type of environment with him, giving you so much history on every single hole.
And then you got to go to his backyard, right?
Oh, I did, yeah. I went to the backyard.
Is there any better backyard than Jim Nantz?
Dude, no, it's like, I try to I have a little putting green in my house. I try to mimic it as much as possible, but
nice.
No, it's insane. If he would have let me, I'd have been there for 5 hours. I was just out there hitting shots. I had my fiance there, and they had the girls, and they're all talking, and she's ready to go. I'm like, just give me another 10 minutes. That's all I need.
That's awesome.
I tried to get the hole-in-one. First shot lipped out, and then never was close again.
Shoot. All right, well, it's good to have something left on your bucket list.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, last question before we're going to go play a couple holes. Is there anything left on your bucket list in the golf world here?
Oh, 100%. There's a lot left. I mean, obviously wanting to be here this week.
Right, we're going to the Masters tomorrow, so that's a big one.
I want to be here this week for the Masters. That was one that I had to get checked off. But I want to go around the country and play all the best courses. I mean, there's so many, and then I even want to go and travel and play courses around the world. And I think that's just the next step for me is I want to do these golf trips and everything like that, but I want to go to these other countries and see these link style courses and even down Australia and play some of the courses down there and New Zealand and really just travel around and get as much golf in as possible.
I love it. All right, he's a true golfer. It's funny, we talk to pro golfers a lot and they don't really have time for fun golf vacations, but for you, you're a lot more relatable to the average golf fan, which is pretty cool.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'll also hit as bad as golf shot as everybody else. So I feel like that gives me a little bit more relatable to the average guy going out to the golf course.
Definitely. All right, let's go play some.